If you saw the seating, Cheney sat just to the left of the chairman, Benny Thompson. And sitting there, according to tradition in the House, that signifies just how important her participation is to the Democratic leaders. They didn't have to put her there. And then Adam Kinzinger is to her immediate left. And then Jamie Raskin and Elaine Luria, Democrat of Virginia, make up that side of the dais. In her opening remarks, Liz Cheney said that the future of American democracy hangs on the integrity and the rigor of the investigation into what these terrorist son of a bitches did on January 6th. And she warned that partisanship, which is all that exists in D.C. these days, partisanship poses a grave threat to, quote, the miracle that is America, end quote. And it is a miracle, except for two essential moments at the founding of this country: genocide and slavery. But I honestly believe that there have been efforts made by decent people of no color to try to confront, to acknowledge, to ask for forgiveness for what happened. I don't know, maybe not. But the idea of America that hasn't been fulfilled, it hasn't been fulfilled yet. Come on. It was a miracle. The idea. Keeping religion the fuck away from government. First Amendment, get it away from government. You want to worship a fucking chair, go ahead, but keep religion away from government, because this is what happens invariably. Look at history, any country's history, but especially European history, and that's from whom we've descended. Look at the bloody history from religion, from Christianity. Cheney added, quote, the American people deserve a transparent record of what happened every minute of that day, down to each phone call and conversation before and during the attack. End quote, Liz Cheney. She added this, quote, honorable men and women have an obligation to step forward. If those responsible are not held accountable, and if Congress does not act responsibly, this will remain a cancer on our constitutional republic, undermining the peaceful transfer of power at the heart of our democratic system, end quote. Yeah. In her opening statement, of course, she also acknowledged the challenges that this investigation is going to face. This is not just, congressional hearings. There are various investigations. What we've already seen the government arrest and charge 535, is that the number? People, cowardly pieces of filth. And when this is finally over, I hope they get the leaders of this QAnon fuckers and the oath-keeping cowards and the 3% Jew haters and the rest of these people, and I hope they're held, the proud pricks. I hope they get the leaders of these organizations and hold them completely responsible as accessories before and after the fact of 5 deaths. I know I sound like a lunatic because that'll never happen. Cheney added this, quote, honorable men and women. Oh, I just quoted that. That's right. But she also acknowledged the challenges that this investigation is going to face. It's going to take months, and it's going to get a tremendous amount of opposition by congressional Christian fascists hiding behind the label Republican. They're not Republican. Including some of the scum, the slime that McCarthy offered up to be on this committee. Can you imagine this filthy little piglet Jim Jordan being on this committee? That little Nazi son of a bitch who likes to look through peepholes in the men's locker room at Ohio State University and watch the team doctor sexually molest male members of various athletic squads. That's Jim Jordan's purpose and function in life. He's a goddamn peeper. He's a peeping Tom, with the promise that he would never testify against the filth who did this to these athletes. That's Jim Jordan. Can you imagine that useless piece of human waste on this committee? No, neither can I. Cheney also, I know I'm focusing a lot on Liz Cheney, but her participation in this fascinates me. It makes me call into question my own assessment that has developed over the past 40 years of Republicans. It does. I'm questioning, not that I would ever vote Republican, not that I believe in Republican political ideas or points of view, but my visceral condemnation of Republicans maybe went too far. But I digress. She alluded to the Christian fascists in the Republican Party who have tried to play down the seriousness of the attacks on January 6th. And she said, quote, we must overcome the many efforts we are already seeing to cover up and obscure the facts. And on January 6th and the days thereafter, almost all members of my party recognized the events that day for what they actually were. I would disagree with that. I would say she's correct up to a point, maybe. But then the monster, this filthy slime monster, Donald Trump, pulled the cords on these people that he now owns outright, the Christian Fascist Party. And all of a sudden, their stories changed. Every one of them. As you know, Liz Cheney, has faced poison, just poison, from people in her own party for pushing for the investigation into what she called every person with knowledge of the planning and preparation for January 6th. And she has said previously that would include issuing subpoenas to fellow members of Congress in her own party, and even this filthy pig bastard Donald Trump. I hope that happens. And I hope he refuses the subpoena. And then I hope federal marshals go arrest his ass. And I hope they do it with one of these overamped SWAT teams. And I hope that some of these QAnons and Proud Boys in their cowardly little uniforms show up and try to stop it. Oh, my goodness, Mike. You sound like you're anticipating violence. Anticipating it? I've witnessed it. What do you think January the 6th was? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.